You are tuned into the Power Chord Hour right here on 107.9 WRFA, as well as the Power Chord Hour podcast, or if you're watching us on YouTube, however you're checking this out, thank you for checking it out. I'm your host, Anthony Merchant, and we're back, second episode of the year. And today we have Mr. Sammy K here with us of the Kilograms, the debut record Beliefs Thieves, coming out this April on Rad Girlfriend Records. And we're going to talk about the band. We'll get into it with Sammy and beyond just the band too, because I'm sure I'm aware of Sammy outside of the Kilograms. I'm sure a lot of people listening are too. So we'll talk about all of Sammy's music and everything. And I don't know, we'll get into everything with Sammy. So Sammy, how you doing?
Good. I didn't realize this is like radio. I would have brushed my teeth today.
It's like when you were asking me, it's like, I don't know, it's a weird thing when people ask as a video, because it's like, I mean, it's on terrestrial radio, it's on podcast, it's on YouTube, so it's like the answer is just all of the above. Yes, all of the above to it.
that's I almost put that under my name on the thing. It said like put your name and your title, and I almost put all of the above.
It would have worked. So no, let's get into it, starting with the Kilograms. I really like what I've heard so far. I did the whole album's not out yet, but I've had a chance to hear most of it, and I really, really like it. I mean, this is
sick, right?
It's so fucking sick, man. I love the record, is amazing. And I've had people tell me, I got to tell you, even before this came out, I mean, I know you have the EP and everything out already. I've been having people tell me I need to check you out. And I kept forgetting. Finally checked you out. I'm kicking myself waiting so long. But I mean, I know the Kilograms pretty new band. Like, I mean, how long have you been together now for? It's still a pretty new project.
Like barely a year and change.
Damn.
We kind of, the date is loose, but it was like before Thanksgiving of last year. So like 13, wow. I guess now like 13 or 14 months. Like we turned around real quick.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, because what do you have now? I mean, on top of this album, you have an EP and then like a single or two, right? I mean, you've released a couple.
Yeah.
Wow.
It just kind of happened real organic. But you know, with the minds involved, that it didn't surprise me how quick we just went.
I guess the question with things like this is always like, I mean, how, it sounds like you hit the ground running. I mean, how thought out of a sound was it? Is this one of those things where like you all kind of had ideas in mind when you formed the Kilograms? Or I mean, it all just kind of like, I don't know, let's all play together and see what this sounds like.
Technically, we all didn't play together until September.
Oh, wow.
This past late August, early September. We did everything remote. Nobody lives Jay is the closest to me, and he's about 10 miles south. McDermott's in Austin, Texas. Joe's in New Hampshire. Craig is in Indianapolis. So like we only see each other when we're playing gigs. And yeah, it just kind of happened. Joe and myself are big writers. We just started again. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. And there's like 6 songs in 10 days, like shells, like okay, this is definitely a chorus. Let's start developing. But like we're definitely guys that don't want to shut the fuck up. Can I curse?
Oh yeah, no, I can.
Okay,
swear all you want. I can edit all of it. Cool. No, you're good.
I'm from New Jersey. My middle name is fucking, so with an apostrophe. My surname, my letters at the end for my degree is TAW for take a walk.
Nice.
Sammy fucking K, take a walk, Esquire. But yeah, we're all creative guys, and it just kind of happened. And we all have home studios for the most part, or some way to work remotely. McDermott, Jay, and Joe, and Craig have that set up, and we can just send stuff back and forth, cake, ideas, a whole lot of voice memos, but we definitely hit the ground running. The better part of 1, two, three. So the 4 songs on the first EP, I mean, obviously the dub is a dub. Those were probably written in the first 10 days.
Wow.
With Guff was showing up. The idea of Guff was showing up around then on the 7-inch, and like Lorelei Yaya, Hoodie Song was real early. Hard Lines was something else that kind of evolved. But a bulk of that record, a bulk of the 17 tracks that are out or will be out in the next couple months came real quick. There was only maybe on the record, on the full length, 4 like late stage editions. Yeah, we just hit the ground running, and the magic of recording from afar is there's no kind of time constraints, and like you work on what you want to work on when you want to work on it. So like me and Joe would do scratch guitar tracks with a click track and send it to McDermott with like a sketch, and he'd track it, and then we'd like me and Jay were pretty much working every Monday and Tuesday in Kentucky, just like, all right, what do we want this band to sound like? And what kind of happened is I think it's a really solid blend of McDermott's technical abilities, Joe's mind for writing melody and riffage, and me thinking I'm in a shoegaze band, thinking I can do crazy guitar shit in a ska punk band. I think that's the magic of this band. And then, of course, Jay's a studio nerd. And I think his favorite thing in the world is to listen to dub records, smoke weed with a samurai movie on silent. You know, like that's the way his mind works. You
That's
know,
fucking
like
sick.
there's a name for it and I can't remember it. And it's fucking great. And that's how he like decompresses. Right? We're all students of music. Dermo and me were talking the other day about chasing your 10,000 hours, and the best part about hitting it is once you hit your 10,000 hours, you get to do it again. You know, you're always growing, you're always studying, you know, always working on something, and that's part of your, you know, that's part of the thing, you know.
It sounds like, I mean, so far the band's not having trouble writing songs. Do you feel like, because I mean, I realized I talked to you, you know, pretty early on in the band, so it's not like, you know, that's how we wrote our first 5 records. But I mean, do you feel like you've figured out a general songwriting process for the band, or do you just think this is something that might, you know, keep progressing? Like, do you have a feeling that things might change when you're writing in like, you know, another year? Or, I mean, do you feel like you've kind of found a pocket so far? You're like, damn, I mean, if this is how it works, let's keep doing it this way.
I think we definitely found a pocket. I tend to think that the best songs we have in the catalog are, or especially on the full length, I'm going to try and focus on the full length here and not talk about the rest of life. But in this statement, I guess, I think the magic of Beliefs and Thieves is that me and Joe did a lot of co-writing, where he'd send me something and I'd be like, yo, man, like this line is real good. Can I chase it? But just that line and like the chords will stay the same, but like just these 10 words, like I think I can write a really cool song off of that. That should really, in my head, is the hook. Let's go, and vice versa. And I think that's been the magic that, like now how we've been writing is I sent Joe. I tend to write off of a statement, and everything gets built off of that statement. So, for instance, like Can't Be Beat was written off of Paris, Texas felt like a reunion. I just thought it was a cool statement, right? And I had this song, and Joe had the chorus, the how long can we wait? How much more can we take? It just kind of smushed together, and it felt real organic. And that seems to be the method that this band is really champing on right now. Like I just sent Joe 8 couplets, and he sent me sketches with like the start of a chorus based on that line, whether it's something like the term the highway queen has been resonating, and I sent him like the highway queen / leave a light on, you know, and he sent me a cool chorus that is talking about, you know, the miles we got to go to get to where we got to be, so leave light on, we'll be there eventually, right? And it's like just a beautiful thing. And now he sent me that. Now I'm starting to think about the narrative of like, where are we? What are we doing? You know, Joe writes these genius, beautiful, perfect choruses. That's his. I mean, he writes killer songs, but Joe is a, you know, a hook master, and I talk too much, as you can tell. So having me tell the story and ramble in the verses, and Joe, you know, pretty much set me up for a home run. Is, you know, I'm fourth up with a grand slam, like with bases loaded, like ready for the grand slam.
You know, the man definitely does know a chorus. There's some really good ones on this record. You were just talking there and you had me, I like asking this to people because like that idea of you writing a song like around a line or just a line kind of influencing you. Are you the kind of person that makes me think like, are you one of those people who like can write a song just off a title where like almost a song title comes before the song and the
No,
lyrics?
but I
No?
can do it off of like a statement or like words or like a moment.
I see what you're
Um,
saying.
I know like Chris Cresswell from the Flats. We've talked about. They'll write songs based off of the song title. Like, oh man, we should
Yeah.
have this song called this, and they write the song for it. I can't do that.
No.
Um, um, the only time that I've ever really champed on that is on this record, and it was Beliefs and Thieves. I had that written in a notebook with a bunch of random jib jabs, like the Anarchy at the Flying J. Has been in my notebook for 5
That's a
years.
great opening line for an album. I
Oh
gotta
my
tell
god,
you
it's
that
the like
that's a great fucking opener, man.
I kept trying to write that song about Reno, Nevada. And the line that I kept that was in my notebook is like, you know what they say, Viva Los Reno. Like as this joke about how I love Reno over Vegas. I think it's a funner town. I think the people there fucking rule. No offense to Vegas. I also enjoy Vegas, but like I'm from Jersey, man. I like dirty cities. Like Vegas is too clean, you know? Like I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. Like it's a clean city, but it's got a little
Got a little grit.
there's a je ne sais quoi of fucking working class here, you know?
I like that.
Um um like I liked East Los Angeles over Hollywood when I lived there, you know? Like I'm that kind of guy. Um and yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Anarchy and a Flying J. Oh, we are talking about
yeah, I kept fighting that to be Viva Los Reno, like fuck yeah, like in all these things, and I had Beliefs and Thieves written down because I was talking about the world and human nature, right? And I'm a big Clash guy, and I was like, yeah, but like Beliefs and Thieves, right? That's what Joe Strummer says. The people that are holding a Starbucks cup in one hand with a peace sign shouting "Free Palestine," you know, like things contradict. If you don't walk the walk, if you're talking the talk, why aren't you walking the walk? And that was just it showed up, and I was like, oh, I should probably write a song about this one day. And Joe sent me, and like I was saying earlier, like Joe sent me the music, and there was like a mumbled chorus, and it was called like "No Good Managers," and it was like I couldn't even tell you if there's words. I was just like, I think I can do something really cool. Like, trust me. And I sent him the first like Anarchy at the Flying J, The Queen is Dead, and Will You Pray, which is like, and it was just like note cards in my notebook of just like random things, and like I had that Beliefs and Thieves, and that's literally the only time I've ever written off of a song title.
that's fucking cool. That's a great story though. For one, you're only one.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
I've named records off of things like that. Like the July 1960, my last solo record, that's a Polaroid that my grandfather took of my grandmother, and that was just the print on the Polaroid on the land camera film from 1960. Like it would stamp the year, the month, and the year. Like that's why that record's called July 1960. The picture was a cover, and it was too good to fuck with. Like we didn't want to do anything to it besides scan it high res and size it to a record.
Oh, that's
Like
not
I've done
that's
stuff like
sweet.
that, but like I knew that the last full length was going to be called July 1960 from the second I saw that picture.
You know that instantly. If something clicks with you, where you know, oh, like, oh fuck,
That's the way. This is the way, right? It's like falling in love. You meet somebody and you want to spend the rest of your life with them. Like you fucking know right away.
Now, with that, are you somebody? Let me ask this. I mean, for writing, then, because I'm going off the idea of you're not forcing things. Like, are you writing all the time, or do you wait for inspiration to strike? Like, is it one of those things where I try to write daily in a notebook, or is it like, hey, I'm not going to force this. Something's going to fucking hit me. I'll be walking down the street, someone just hits me. It's like, all right, that means it's time to go write a song.
A little column A, column B. I write a lot when the living's happening. And I tend to make sure that the living's good. So when I moved to Cincinnati, I'd gotten divorced and I was figuring out the new normal and the new start. And I realized Jay lived here and I was like, Jay, let's fucking hang out. And we had a good summer, a good 8 months of just like, let's go play pool every night. Let's fucking, I'm sober, but he was drinking. Like he drinks, like you get a High Life, I get a Coke, let's fucking close the bar. And I would write off of the dumb things my friends said. And that was, and I gave myself a challenge that at the end of every night, no matter what time it was, I would free write and try and get 12 lines. And that spawned 30 songs, like 40 songs, and 20 of them are released.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of those some of those got developed for Kilogram songs on the full length and on the EPs. And but like lately I'm not writing at all. I just kind of jumped back in. Life has been real hectic here. And I didn't want to put a rough summer into words. And now I'm like starting to write, but it's just finding couplets or one-liners and being like, I want to develop this idea. I want to develop that idea. Like the list right now is like, there's a line about screaming in the basement with my best friends. There's a line about the highway queen. There's a line about the one that I really want to develop. Who are you to tell us how we feel and how loud we'll scream or something like that? And it's just like, yeah, like, okay, cool. Like it's similar to that Beliefs and Thieves concept. Like you can't fucking govern a feeling or a thought or hope or happiness or who are you to dream so loud? Who am I to dream so loud and who are you to stop it? That's the line.
I like that.
And it's a great, it can live in a chorus, it can live in a bridge, it can live in a tag, it can live as a tag, it can live as the fourth line of a verse. It's just a great little sentence that's so, you know, it's easily sung and it's easily developable. You can take that 1,000 different ways, you know? And it's also vague enough that everybody can have their own feelings on it, you know? But that's how I write. So right now I'm starting to hum in the car and pull some melodies and pull some ideas and it's been we created a lot. So I kind of put my guitars down for a little bit too. Like collectively this summer alone between Jay and me and Joe, like I did a full length, Joe had a full length, Jay's band did a full length that I tape opped. Like I ran the tape machine for the record, on top of all the Kilogram stuff and a couple digital singles and what. Like I was just tired. Like I didn't want to think about it. Like the output of the Kilograms collective in the last since we got together is like 60 fucking songs. Like that's more than most bands do in their careers. And we did that in the summer, you know, across a couple of projects. But that's a lot of fucking output.
I think you deserve a break. I think you take a little break from writing music. I think that's okay.
I thought we were done. Like I thought we finished the record remotely. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's like finish this up and start to mix. And they're like, no, let's go. And I was like stoked. I was like, I can take a break. And then we were like, we started playing shows and we were like, we should go in a studio and record this together in the same room. And then I was like, fuck, like that rules. But do we have to? Like, I want to go to the beach. I want to go fishing, you know, like I would like to ride a bike. I don't even own a bike. I would like to figure out how to weld a bike together and build one. Like, I don't even like riding bikes. Like, you know,
that I had a question that kind of goes into it, like with you, because again, I mean, you're doing the kilograms, you do solo stuff. And I mean, one of the biggest things to me talking to people who do both, one project's more insular where, I mean, you're writing the songs, you're playing them, I mean, you might have someone recording them or producing it and stuff, but for the most part, it's you. Whereas with the full band, you have people to bounce ideas off of, but that also means people have their thoughts and ideas on your thoughts and ideas. Like, I guess I don't even know if I'm asking you if you prefer one over the other, but the differences in like that. I mean, writing a record where it's only you that you have to talk to versus, writing a record where it's like, hey, there's 4 other guys you got to go through with thoughts and ideas. It's not just you.
That's definitely a thing. I don't see a difference. I think everybody has their creative things. Like, I'm real grateful that like Jay Duckworth and me have been now chugging in the studio for 3 years, 4 years almost, and we know each other well and we know how we work. And like Craig has been with me on and off for over a decade,
Oh, wow.
12 years now. He played in like the Sammy band when we were babies, and I think that it's all really for the sake of the song. Like, and the words "trust me" get thrown around. Like, no, man, trust me. Like, we all, like, I think collectively there's been like 3 times within the kilograms where we've said this isn't going to work, and it didn't work, and we went back to the drawing board, whether it was a guitar part or a whole song. Like, there's a song that there's a demo floating around that's half done called "Fashion Me on Time." That became 5 songs that just got broken up and scattered. Like, oh, we need a 3rd verse here. Like, this statement's really good, we should put it here. And that's okay. Like, there's songs that I stole 2 lines from Joe and we developed that, and that became something else. And some of those songs are still coming. Where it's like, oh, remember that line that like we scrapped? Like, we should think about that line.
I was going to ask you, because we're talking about like, song ideas and jumping off of, with other people and everything. For you, when you're working alone, like, how long will you work on a song before you scrap it? Because everyone's different. Some people are like, they work on it and 30 minutes in, they realize it's not going to work. They throw it away forever. Some people put it away for a minute. They'll come back 3 years later. Where do you kind of, when you don't have other bandmates going like, hey, no, keep that line, we might use it later. Where are you when left to your own devices? I mean, do you keep stuff for a while? Do you scrap shit pretty fast? I mean, where are you when left on your own with that kind of stuff?
I am slowly revisiting things. Like I said, Anarchy at the Flying J has been in the notebook for 4 years, 5 years now. Like, I'll write down a statement and I'll just keep going back to it. And like I said, like Viva Los Renos, Viva Los Reno, I think I have 5 different songs written that have that mentioned, and I'll write things like motorcycles and apple orchards in a notebook, and every year I'll see it. Every 8 months I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna try and write that song. Like, there's something beautiful about motorcycles and apple orchards, like there's something you can, it's a good entry point to tell a story. But for the most part, I tend to write a song. I don't love edits. I think that the magic of the first time you kind of play through it is the most important version. And within like the record, like, I think Old Dog is the first take of that song. We jammed it for 5 minutes and then we just did it. Hard Lines is maybe the second take again, or Hard Lines, like Beliefs and Thieves, I think we did 3 takes of it after learning it on a porch. Like, not even like we didn't rehearse. Like, we sat on a porch and just were like, all right, we talked it out. There was an electric guitar and we like hashed it out in a room for 20 minutes and then we hit record. Like, that's the magic of, a song becomes a song when it's played through the first time. Like, that moment's there. It's magic, and you fucking feel it.
I'm with you there.
And same thing with vocal takes. Like, a lot of, like, I'm a firm believer that, like, the first take is warming up, the second take's good. But if you can't hit it by the fifth take, go listen to the third take again and adjust that, because the more you overthink it, the less you're going to be you. You're going to try and be cool or whatever. Because after all, we're fucking humans, and nobody, like, I don't have perfect pitch. I don't even know how to sing. I play in a cover band called Slob Dylan because I can't.
That's a great name.
I also play in a hot dog themed Thin Lizzy cover band called Thin Glizzy.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, I think that the moment the song comes alive, that's what it should be. And I'm all for, like, adjusting pronouns, because that can absolutely change a narrative. He to she, they to him, us to them. Like, that can completely turn a whole thing around if you change one pronoun.
Oh yeah.
And can either make it better or worse. So I'll write a song, I'll demo it, and then I'll write it out, and then I'll just look at every pronoun and see if I adjust that one word, you made me do this versus I made you do this. You made you do this. You made us do this. Like, those are all 5 different fucking statements with one word, one word.
I like that. And
they all have a completely different meaning.
And you still have the same song. I like the idea. You're not changing the whole identity of the song. It's those little nuances you're changing. Just those little tweaks make all the difference.
Yeah, well and while, right? WHILE and WELL within folk music or country music. Well is, well, I've been doing, but while, it's the same syllable, it's the same breath, it's the same time, but it goes from being in the moment to a narrator. Well, the sounds of engines roar, while the sounds of engines roar. It's essentially the same fucking statement, just the way you say it. That one word will change the whole thing, So I'll edit like that. Joe makes me edit a lot. And it's not ever really the words, but the arrangement. Like, I think I have upwards of 20 versions of Every Street, and can't be beat on my phone.
Jeez.
But he's also a fucking college professor, and I think he was trying to teach class, like, and it felt like that, because when I got it, he's like, so why is this the version? And I said, well, I think A, B, C, D, and E makes sense. And he's like, all right, you get an A, gold star, kid. The guy teaches songwriting at a college. Like, he could tell me what to do and just be like, all right, it's done, or I can learn. Hate him for it, but I love it. Hate him for it, but I love it.
This definitely has to be interesting to be in a band with someone, to have that dynamic, like the good and the bad of that.
Dude, I swear to God, I think the dude that produces that mixed the record has more gold records than I have teeth. Like, and it was so hard because I'm a real hands-on guy with everything, and, like, I had no say in the mix. We just sent it off on trust, and I got to send some notes, but, like, this guy's got Paul Calder. He's a fucking
a
mastermind. Like, the dude has a beautiful catalog, and he was the only guy that checked every box, right? The weird folky storyteller shit that I do, like, he did Uncle Tupelo's records, and he did the reggae, he did all the Boston stuff, he did my favorite Benno and Soundclash record. He's got a Grammy for, like, a Toots and the Maytals record.
Oh fuck yeah.
Like, but he also did the Pixies and Radiohead. So the weird shit that I wanted to try and incorporate in, like, that was up his alley. And like, literally, I think the first note we sent was like, dude, it's okay to be weird. Like, he mixed Beliefs and Thieves first, and it was like, oh yeah, we're good. Like, just up the vocal here, and I think we're golden, right? Just a quick, like, adjust the chorus, right? The last chorus, make it bigger. And that's the mix that we have. But and then he sent something else for like saddest song. Like, this is great, but don't be afraid to get weird. And then we got a remix of it like the next day. And then we are like, great, cool, go to the races. And it just, like, once he realized, like, oh, we're not afraid of this shit. Like, let's fucking go. You know? I sent the dude a Facebook note and was like, the record sounds really cool. Thank you so much. Like, I genuinely am stoked. Like, thank you. He's like, glad to be a part of it, period. Like, that's my only interaction with this dude. Like,
Oh, damn.
we made the best record of my life, and that was like lovingly I'm sure we'll cross paths with him eventually, but like one statement. Thanks for having me, guy. You know?
How long did this album take to record? I mean, how long? Because I guess I don't. Was it? It sounds like, I mean, in patches probably. I mean, it's not like this was sitting down for 2 weeks and doing all this. I mean, it was kind of the window of recording and sending shit and all that.
It was pretty quick. We did. We walked into the studio like September 12th, and we did 3 days, and we did 14 songs, drums, bass,
damn,
keepers, and scratch guitars, scratch rhythm guitar. And then we went home. And then me and Jay and Craig kind of hunkered down at Jay's house in Northern Kentucky, and we probably did 10 days of guitars and organ and synths and percussion, some percussion. McDermott did a lot of percussion too at home in that period. And then we went back to Pete's in Asbury Park for 3 days to sing the record. And then we slept on it. We made whatever tweaks we all felt needed to be tweaked. Jay did a rough mix, so we had a rough mix of like what this record could sound like. And then we sent it off. And we were in the studio for 6 days in New Jersey, the end of October and early September, and then we had that little window between. And then it pretty much got mixed. I think our deadline to finish recording was like November 20th. We didn't make that deadline. We sent it out to mix like December 1st, and we got it back January 3rd, and we sent it to press. I got the master back 2 days or 3 days before we announced the record. So it was like, we probably worked 20 days, 30 days with mixing over 2.5 months.
That's not bad.
No, it was quick. We did 6 songs in 5 hours. We set up drums and we ripped 5, and that left us 2 days to like the second day we did like Beliefs Thieves and a song called Lie to Me that didn't make the record, and 2 other B-sides that we were playing that didn't fit once we made the record. And Saddest Song was new. And then like that third day we did like battles, Faith and Love, and then we literally wrote Old Dog and Hard Lines. Like pretty much that day. It was 3 days done. Cake. But we also just played 10 shows in a row, so we were in the fucking pocket and in the zone and feeling good and warmed up,
Well, that's the other side. You guys have played a lot. Like, not only have you like ridden a lot in this fucking like year of being a band, you guys like seem like you've played a pretty decent amount so far already.
We played like 18 shows.
God damn.
Like, we haven't been in the van. We haven't played more than 4 shows in a row. It just looks like it because we were do a weekend to New Jersey, spend 3 days in the studio, and then go play a festival. So it looks like this massive stretch of like we were gone for 12 days, but we only played 5 shows.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's deceptive.
I think as of now, we played like 19 or 20 shows. So, which is a lot for a new band, but like in the grand scheme of like the Boss Tones, me and McDermott's tour schedule, Joe's tour schedule, McDermott's and my tour schedule, like 20 shows is like what we usually do in a month when we're
good point.
active,
It's funny as you
Which
say
is
it because it sounded like a lot at first, and then you keep talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, no, comparatively, no, it
20
doesn't.
shows over a year, dude. 13 months. Like, that's not a lot of shows. That's like 4 shows. We did 4 shows in April or May. We did 5 shows in September, 6 shows in maybe October, and 3 shows in December. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not a lot. It just seems like it because we put out so much fucking like music.
You're very active. Like in the first year, I mean, again, being a band for as short a time as you are, I mean, again, to the point where like people have told me I got to check you out, and then I slept on you for a while. Like we're all talking about a band that's fucking existed for like, a year. It's like, oh yeah, like you're very active.
Dude, I had a conversation with a friend of mine that we're talking about doing shows with, and I was like, dude, he's like, I can't afford, like, we can't afford it. Like, all we have is a 1st to 4 slot. And I'm like, that's fine. We're a 1st to 4 band. We played 20 shows. Like, we are not your direct support in a 3,000 cap venue. Like, that's not us. We'll take the 7:30 slot and be done by 7:55, and that's okay. Like, we're a baby band. Like, on top of the fact that none of us really, I mean, we enjoy playing shows. We don't have to play shows. We don't, it's not on the agenda. That's just us getting to see each other and hang out, which is the best fucking part. Like, we're just here to create.
I was gonna say, do you think it will pick up? Like, do you feel like at some point there's gonna be a fucking like road dogging band that's out like 10 months of the year, or is
Can
it?
I ask you a serious question?
Yes.
Would you quit Joan Jett's band or quit being a college professor?
No, probably not.
Yeah, like,
Damn, that was good, man. That was good.
Like, those guys have really good lives. I'm here. My wife's my partner's been fighting cancer. Like, I can't actively go. Like, Jay runs a facility, helps run a facility for adults with special needs. Like, he's got responsibilities. Like, we can't just go. That's why, like, we've gotten to play 20 shows, and we kind of pick and choose. Like, we're doing 10 shows in a couple weeks, and I think we leave in 10 days. And that's it till like June. Like, I'd love to play. I think we all would love to play more. We just all realistically can't.
Yeah.
And we can do stuff, and there's going to be some shows this year that McDermott has to sit out with because he's out with Joan Jett on the Billy Idol tour. And that's fucking rad. But, like, we don't necessarily want to go play with a bunch of fill-ins. Like, we really love our core. And kind of, as long as the core is there, we'll do stuff. And if it's something cool, like, the joke is if Billy Joel calls to play Madison Square Garden, we'll play. Like, it's got to be something ridiculous like that,
I think that might be the next show. You guys do like a week residency with Billy Joel. That might be.
Dude, I'm fucking pissed. He's playing Cincinnati when we're playing somewhere, and it's Billy Joel and Rod Stewart. Like, fuck.
Oh damn,
that's a fun show.
That would be a good fucking show.
I don't even like Billy Joel. I mean, I like 80s Joel, like doo-wop Joel, but like Rod Stewart fucking rules.
Oh fuck yeah.
At the Bengals Stadium, like, which isn't my favorite place to see shows, but like big shows, but it's fucking Rod Stewart. The dude fucking rules,
You make exceptions. Just still go for it. You can still go.
I make an exception. The other exception I made was for Taylor Swift, but that's just because I'm a Swiftie,
Nice. Well, I mean, do you think? Because again, I mean, we're talking. It's weird because again, I've heard the records. I keep thinking of it like it's out, and I know it's not. We're talking about shows. I mean, do you think the band will play a record release show at all? Do you think that's anything?
No.
Fuck no. A big fuck no.
Fuck no. I'd be stoked if the record showed up in time for the Boston show with the Dropkick Murphys. It's not going to happen, but that would be the closest thing to a record release show that we'd play. We're not that band, man. We like, I don't want to headline shows or headline. Like, we either want to play cool shows or cool shows. And it doesn't matter if they're in a fucking basement or an arena. But, like, if the vibe's solid, the vibe's solid. Like, and we'll play shows and the van will be like, show was great. Vibe wasn't right. Like, let's try not to do that. Let's shoot to not hit that feeling again. Band played tight. Kids were there. It was just a weird venue or a weird this or that. That like we just vibe check, bro. Vibe check.
I like it, and I like the answer to the big fuck no to a record release show. You're honest about it. You're honest. I like it,
man. I don't think we did one for July 1960. Joe didn't do one for his record. Like Jay did one for New Seeker 6, but they don't really tour. They're like a local band. Like we don't have there's no, where would we do it?
You're not a local band per se.
We all don't live in the same, like if we had to do a record release tour, we'd have to play 30 shows because we would have to do one in Austin, where McDermott currently lives, Cincinnati, Indianapolis. McDermott was born in Philly, so we'd have to do Philly. I'd have to do New Jersey, which means we're going to have to do New York because we're there. And nobody goes to shows in New York, so it's like, why the fuck are we doing that? And we do Boston, right, for Joe, and New Hampshire, where like up there where he lives is a cool little venue that his students run that like we do. That's where I would do it, is like this little 100 cap in like the New Hampshire Vermont border woods where Gilman lives. That's our home.
I like that.
You know, it's not a place to do it. We're not one of those, like, we don't, like, when we say, hey, where are the Kilograms from? Like, I say we're from nowhere, and it's good to be here. Because we don't have a home. There's no home base for this band. The home base, like KG's HQ is a fucking 5x5 room in my basement where the gear lives. You know, like, that's where we do the record release show. Like, nobody's playing. You can't even stand there when we have a merch order and the gear there, you know?
Very intimate record release show.
Yeah, intimate. Just me on my phone in a group FaceTime asking the dudes if they have any interest in doing anything.
This shit is invite only.
Yeah, fucking FaceTime. We're too cool for Zoom.
Oh, man. I mean, as we start closing this out, you know, I'm talking to you pretty early on in 2025. I mean, Kilograms and beyond, you know, anything else kind of coming up in the world of Sammy K or Kilograms or anything else that we should let people know about?
Man, I can't even tell you what I'm eating for dinner, and dinner is in 11 minutes, man. I don't know. I think right now the future is really unwritten, and I think that I'm a 12 stepper. I had a big conversation about higher powers in the universe and what may be. I'm personally just gonna let whatever's guiding me take the fucking wheel, because there's no use forcing anything. There's no use forcing shit. Just like gonna try and make sure that I leave a light on and make whatever room I get to go in a little brighter as I leave. But that's a load of shit. We're going to probably make another record by the end of the year. There's 4 B-sides and a bunch of live recordings there'll be something else.
Keep an eye out.
I told myself I didn't want to do anything more than 1 album cycle this year, and I have a feeling there'll probably be 2 or 3. Just the way life goes. Or the last couple of years have gone. Yeah, I have no idea. Like I said, I started writing. Kilograms are writing. I don't know what it's going to be, but writing's good. You got to flex them brain muscles.
No, there'll be something by the sounds of it. There'll be more coming by the sounds of it.
There'll be something. I don't know if you'll have it, but there'll be something. You know?
Something's a brewing.
Hard drives exist for a reason. No, I honestly, we'll see. You know, we don't know what. I mean, for all intents and purposes, record nobody will hear, and we make one, and we decide not to do it, or we just hang out once every 6 months and do a studio session for us, just to be creative. You know. But whatever it is, I'm stoked. I'm grateful. You know, I can't. You can't beat it with a stick.
Nice. Well, you know, as close this out, where can we send people for the record's not out yet, I guess. Where can we go find the stuff that is out? Where can we find you online? all that good stuff. Where can people now go find all this?
Kilograms.com will take you to tour dates, web store. There's links for all the socials minus the Nazi one are at the Kilograms. The questionable social media is at the Kilograms band. I don't use that because I don't want to these days. And then, yeah, you can find us all through there.
Nice. Well, as we close this out, which, I mean, people are listening to the radio show, we're going to play some Kilograms now. And if you listen to the podcast, go check that shit out. But anything else to let the good people know before we say goodbye here?
Yo, listen to more Paul Simon. Trust me.
Fuck yeah. And with that, talking to Sammy K, Beliefs Thieves, the debut from the Kilograms coming out this April on Rad Girlfriend Records. And yeah, I'm Anthony Merchant talking to Sammy, and thanks for tuning in to the Power Chord Hour.